getting one? And if it is, what one should I get?
Oh, that's a few questions. So a gimbal is a device for stabilizing your camera. And it's, rather than just putting your camera either handheld, which if you're going to try and move around, handheld's going to get a bit shaky for you. Or if you just put it on a selfie stick or a tripod and then move around, it will still have shake on it. The gimbal smooths all that out for you. So it's a motorized device, and it's on a 3-axis, so it stabilizes it horizontally and vertically. So it's really good for action sports, things like that, for following people around, for getting that kind of point of view.
And I think that's the question: is it only for action sports, or if you're if your business is, you have a furniture showroom and you're walking around that furniture showroom, should you be doing that with a gimbal?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the style of video you want to make, and I think it's got a few applications. I often say to people in training that don't get a gimbal as your first port of call, because I think initially, potentially it's a real barrier if you want to make good videos. I kind of teach people about shooting interesting visuals, just not entirely handheld, but just with a little phone holder and kind of holding the camera still and letting the action that's unfolding tell the story, and then editing it together in a nice way. But the example that you've said there of a showroom, or I remember when we bought our car, they did that guided tour of the car because I couldn't come to see it. That if you're going to do that kind of more laid back, casual, not a tight edit, you're just going to walk around the showroom and do a bit of the sales patter, I think a gimbal could be a really good investment for you.
So it's not a magic wand. The gimbal itself isn't going to suddenly make all your videos amazing. You still need to plan it. You still need to think it all through. But there are certain situations where there's maybe a lot of movement in the video, or you're showing people around things. It's another valuable part of the toolkit that's going to then enhance the video.
Yeah. I think that the first thing you said is absolutely right, and that's why I tend to say don't go out and buy a gimbal straight away. Learn how to make a good video without a gimbal first of all, and then upgrade and buy a gimbal maybe further down the line. So when you kind of know, when you've got some ideas now how to apply it, because I think the kind of danger with a gimbal is you think I can move around and it looks really cool, and you end up just walking around a showroom, which isn't an interesting video. Having lots of different shots and angles and close-ups is interesting, not just watching the real-time tour of a showroom. That's not necessarily an interesting video.
So if somebody's beyond that stage, if they're doing videos and they're thinking, right, they've done these kind of guided tour type videos and they think, well, actually a gimbal would enhance this, are you able to recommend one to start with?
Well, the one that I've used, and is probably one of the most popular ones, is the DJI Osmo range. So I think they're on Osmo 4 now. I've got the Osmo 3. Everything is around the £100 mark nowadays, and I think DJI is hovering around that. The Osmo 4, which I don't have, it came out very recent, just after I got the number 3, and I had kind of envy of it already. What's nice about that is the way that you attach it to your phone. If I show you just my Osmo 3 here, when I attach it to my phone, it's got this clip. So I have to kind of pull the clip out. It can be a little bit awkward to kind of get it in place. The Osmo 4, this bit's a magnet. So you clip it onto your phone over here, separate to your gimbal, and then it just uses a magnet to clip it on there. It's a good sound effect.
I like that.
I like that sound effect. Yeah. So in terms of, I think one of the issues with gimbals is they can be a barrier to just creating really fast, quick video. Yeah. Whereas if you've got this little magnet on the back of your phone all the time and you can just slot it into your gimbal, then that's a really nice way to kind of.
And what do they run on batteries? Do you need to charge the gimbal up?
Yeah, you need to charge the gimbal up. The charge on this one's quite low at the moment. It's just a little USB charger that comes with it. And you can see here, I've got it in portrait mode, but you can see here, I think it's quite good for that kind of video. You don't need much training to just, maybe go for a walk and share a bit of business expertise in selfie mode. If you're doing that handheld, you're going to see all that camera shake and all that camera movement. If you're on a gimbal, then it's going to be nice and smooth. Okay,
and now I'm sure I've seen some where, like that one, you've put your phone in it, but I'm sure I've seen some where the gimbal actually contains. It's almost like a gimbal with a GoPro built into the middle of it. The camera's actually in the thing. Is that somehow better? Would that be what you would recommend?
Again, it depends. I think those ones, again, that's a DJI one. There's a few, but
It's the Osmo,
it
is
is,
it? Not,
yeah. Well, this is the Osmo for the phone, and then there's the Osmo, which is, as you described, it's got a tiny little action camera as part of it, and it's the whole device is about that size, so you really can store it in your pocket, and then bring it out whenever you want. And so I think for a lot of people, a barrier to doing this. I mean, while I say go for a walk and dish out some business advice, most of us are going to feel a bit stupid doing that, walking along, whereas that little DJI device would let you do it quite inconspicuously.
it's a bit more discreet.
Yeah,
You can take it into places and things like that. And okay, great. Well, that's really helpful. Thank you for demystifying the world of gimbals. And one of the reasons that was on my mind, and I just tweeted this before we came on air today, is that there's a really interesting report that's just come out from Retail Gazette. And it's all about video commerce, and it's looking at, well, the last few years, but also in particular the last, since COVID and the lockdown, and the way that lots of retailers started adapting and started using video for live one-on-one interaction with potential customers. So, for example, Emma, I think during last year, during the lockdown or part of the lockdown, you went to the sofa shop and you bought a new sofa.
Yeah.
Now that could have, if that had happened in the thick of lockdown, then they might have said to you, well, you can't come in and look at sofas, but tell us what time suits you. We'll put one of our salespeople on a video call and they'll take you round the showroom. And they've done this with cars as well. Some of the car dealers have been doing it.